I want to talk about, and I don't want to overload my YouTube with just a bunch of stuff. So, today I want to talk about deprivation. And I don't know if I'm saying this exactly right, and I don't want to call my therapist because it's late. But he once or twice have said to me, when a person is used to or accustomed to getting their way, when you tell them no, they often act as if they're deprived. So you could have said yes 17 times in a row, but they only will resonate with that one no. That no shatters everything. It's like, you're never there for me. I really needed you. I'm not a priority. And that type of behavior is not normal. Um, Not only, I think the new term is gaslighting. Not only is it gaslighting and not only is it selfish, it's really harming the person, like, especially somebody like me. It's very harmful because I already struggle with saying no. And so if I know I say my no is going to lead to you acting crazy, or you leading to gaslighting me, or you leading to acting like I've never done anything, even though I know that I've been there and done all these things, it still plays in my mind. It still is like, okay, should I have done whatever? And the answer is always no. No, because no means no. Generally, especially for me, if I say no, it's warranted. It's whether I'm tired, it's whether I've already had something planned. Sometimes you're undeserving, and I have really struggled with that part. Saying no to people who don't deserve my time and attention. I had to learn that my time is valuable. My time is for me to do what I choose to do. Now, we all, especially if you're a Christian, you give back, you do for others, you sometimes put others before yourself. I am a mom first, and I am not the best mother in the world. I always admit that I have my shortcomings. However, my kids generally come first. And even with them, I have to tell them no. And I know, especially with my oldest, no, even with both of them, they're spoiled. So when I tell them no, it feels like deprivation. And I'll beat myself up, and I'll call somebody and be like, I said, and they're like, no, that no was warranted. Or did you feel like doing it? Or were you in a position to do it? No. And a lot of people, they always say, you really have to walk a mile in somebody's shoes to understand. So while most people do understand that I have anxiety or I suffer from depression or whatever, until you really experience it, it's hard to fully understand. Now, some people are just empaths or compassionate, so they get it, as best as they can. And also, another thing, just because you have depression or anxiety doesn't mean you understand. Your coping skills are different, especially if you have a certain type of support system. Unfortunately, my support system, while it's great, like I can call anybody for almost anything, it's not physical. So I can't call my parents or my child's father and say, hey, really having a tough time. Can you please come get Chloe for a week? There's no one that I can call to say that. I can't even say, can you come get her for a day? It's just not an option. Now, pre-COVID, yeah, I had a couple of people that would be like, I'll get her for a couple of days. And then I'm in another state. So, the rare occasions when someone does take her, I am excited. And yeah, she does. She's a good kid. For the most part, she stays to herself. She stays in her room. But there's still a sense of responsibility. There's still a sense of, even though for 4 hours, if I don't hear from her, if I'm in a depressed mood and she's asking me something as simple as, can you listen to these jokes, or can you play a game with me, or can you fix me some food? I don't have it in me. And then I feel bad because I've been like, no, and I'm, irritable, and it's not fair to her. Now, the good thing about my child is that she does understand depression and anxiety because she has her own, mental struggles. So that's helpful, but it doesn't help me as a parent because I still feel that guilt. And even if you don't have depression or anxiety, we all need a break. Like, you can have the sweetest kid in the world, but I tell people, in order for you to be the best you and to give somebody else, you have to have me time. Me time is so important. So that was a little side note of this conversation, but bottom line is, I've had to say no a lot lately as I am, have gone through the last year with changes in my mental health and a lot of things that I've learned in therapy and in group therapy. I have started to implement those things, or at least attempt to. And so a lot of people aren't used to that side of me. They aren't used to me taking up for myself, or me clapping back, or me saying no, or just different things. They aren't accustomed to it. So it's like, and I have a right to say no. And I even have to tell myself that sometimes you have a right to pick and choose what you decide to do. You have a right to shut down. You have a right to call out of work because you are not the best you. I remember before I would struggle with that. Like if I could be, I remember one time being in an office and I was really, really, really sick. And we had a meeting that day and, or it may have been the day before. So when my supervisor said something like, the attendance is down. We really need y'all to be here. Some people really abuse it, basically, because everybody in every office, they abuse it. Unfortunately, I am a person who gets sick. And it's not nothing like I have like a cancer or anything like that, but I get a lot of sinus infections. I suffer with headaches. Now I know depression played a big part in it. So some of them days I just couldn't get out of bed. So I have a couple of things going on. So there are days where I had to call out. And I would hate it, especially when we had particular people we had to call out to, because I was felt like I was being judged. And they may or may not have been judging me, but even when I was out, I was like, how do I go back to work? They probably think I'm not really sick. Those are the things that when you have anxiety, you struggle with. So I say that to say I went to my supervisor and I was like, I don't feel well. Something. He was like, you need to go home. I said, but you said that people are abusing it. He said, you're not one of those people. If you don't feel well, because if I ob you and you mess up, you're going to get. I was like, you're absolutely right. And I went home and I felt good when I'm saying, but I shouldn't even have been concerned about that because at the end of the day, my health should be my top priority. But unfortunately, it hasn't been for so long. So I am taking charge of that. Even when I went back to work, I was so nervous. I was like, what are they going to think? What am I going to do? I can't go, it's just so much has changed. And so I am really working hard to stick to my no. Really working hard to create boundaries. It's a struggle. It's a daily struggle. So where though some days I come off extremely confident with it. I might be on the phone and somebody be like, can we do this? I'm like, no. And sometimes, and when I get off the phone, I'm like, was I rude? Did I come across this way? Are they still gonna be my friend? And what I've learned is my friends are my friends. My friends that love and care about me are not going to gaslight me. They're not going to call somebody else and be like, she this and that. They're not going to do that. And they may be disappointed and they may express their disappointment and they have a right to do that. However, I have a right to put me first. And so I've noticed that the people who love and care about me don't do that. They don't tell me, well, I needed you to do this and you wasn't here, blah, 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 blah. Or they don't tell me I don't do whatever. And if they may be telling someone else, but they're considerate enough to understand, especially people who have been through it. They like, I get it. This is where you're at. And, and I tell people, even when I make plans, this is what I want to do, but it may not come through. And, even in 2021, where so many people suffer from depression, anxiety, and different mental health issues, it's still such a stigmata with it. It's like, as soon as you tell somebody you're depressed, oh, you need to meditate, you need to do this, I have tried it all. In depression, there's no cure for it. I'm not depressed. And that's another thing people don't realize. There's a difference between depression and being depressed. When my ex-husband left me for that ratchet hoe, she went ratchet hoe. She was just homey as hell. But anyway, another story. When my ex-husband left me many years ago, I was depressed. I went through a situation. I didn't handle it well. I shut down. I lost 20-some pounds, which was great. That was a depressed episode. Depression is there. It doesn't go away. It's not a situation thing. It's you have depression. It's a chemical imbalance. You have to take medicine, you go to therapy, you do meditate, you do pray, whatever works for you. But I think many people confuse, this is not situational. This is not going to go away. And I thought that myself when, I was first diagnosed. I was like, I've been here 6 months. Why am I still going through this? And he was like, progress is not linear. You're going to have your good days. You're going to have your bad days. And that is so true. I can wake up in the morning and be on cloud 9. 3 hours later, I'm like, I'm still alive. What the fuck? That's the reality of it. Or I sit up many nights replaying an instance in my head, trying to figure out, should I handle it this way? Should I say this? It's just a constant mind fuck. And I'm sorry about the language. I have a pouty mouth. But yeah, basically, the whole moral of this is saying basically sticking to your no. It is okay to say no. It is okay to say no to me. And let me tell you something. I hate the word no. Oh my God. I am one of those people that when you say no, I'll be like, what? Especially if you always say yes and you say no to somebody. So while I even might understand it, it doesn't mean that I like it. And I don't have to like it because at the end of the day, you are your top priority. You come first before anything and everybody except for whoever you serve. So, um, thanks for listening. This was long. It was over 10 minutes, and I try to really keep it 6 to 7 minutes because, but this, I don't know, I just felt like I needed to talk about it because somebody did make me feel bad. Because in the last couple of days, I have really been taking time to do some of the things that need to be done. I needed a physical, I needed this, I needed that. I didn't even get my nails done, which, oh, God. So I get tired of when I tell somebody no or I take time for myself that I'm made to feel like a bad person. But again, the people that really care about me or the people who aren't trying to gaslight me understand. So I have to realize my audience, I have to recognize that it's not personal. That person has issues with their self, not me. And it's not one particular person. That's the sad part. I have a couple of people in my life that cannot take no. And a lot of times I'll avoid even answering because I don't want to go through, oh, I asked you to do that. No one wants to hear that. It's not fair and it's not okay. Because I notice when I ask something of those same people, not only do I not even get an answer, it's like, oh, you didn't ask. I did ask several times. Or sometimes you see it's a need. Why do I have to tell you I need this? And you see there's a need. So I'm definitely learning to reciprocate. I am learning to treat people accordingly. You put me first, I'll put you first. You do for me, I do for you. And I hate being that way, but it's a part of protecting myself. I had to learn that it's a give and take in every relationship, whether it's your mate, whether it's your parent, whether it's your friend, whether it's your coworker. It's a give and take. And if I'm only constantly giving and not getting anything out of it, how fair is that? Who wants to be in something like that? Not me. And it's not a friendship, it's abuse. So, thanks guys for taking the time to listen to this. Again, it was long, but I hope you got something out of it. And for me, it's therapeutic to talk to you all. So, I appreciate you for listening. Have an amazing rest of your day, amazing rest of your week. And remember to put yourself first and stick to your no. And it's okay to say no without explanation. That's another thing I'm working on. It's just no because I said so. Bye.